Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is Spawn of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Herbert, and our game master is John Hook. This is episode 7. Our recap will be given by me as my character, Dr. Zeno Saladin. So, without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Good evening, children of the eternal magnetic time-space continuum. May the light of God fill you with peace and hope. Light leads to light, darkness to darkness. Though we try to shine, we are moving into a time of troubles. Jupiter is in retrograde, as are the sun and the moon, which explains why so many strange things are befalling us. Undying monsters walk amongst us, devouring our departed loved ones. Men commit atrocities against the animal kingdom, and Gaia is not pleased. Her song has turned to cries of anguish and revenge. Her little ones multiply and seek out whom they may infect. And elsewhere, men with great scopes try to uncover cosmological mysteries and record them in their blasphemous notebooks. Dark are the times. Now there have come to us rumors of strange new planets that bend the inner worlds to their gravity and pervert the orbits of the celestial spheres. The spider spins her web, and the world of dreams and the waking world are drawing together. Now know this, that I myself will travel into the dreamlands and see what is there. Angels and archangels and multi-winged seraphim may walk there unimpeded, and we may speak with them and learn much. I travel there before you as a seeker of knowledge, and I will return as your guide. Many have seen new life, and many more have seen death. When the light of the soul fades and the body returns to the earth. But there are other connections and other realms that need to be explored. Children of the earth, heed my warning. The long, spindly, multi-jointed legs of revenge are near at hand. They scuttle to and fro, in and out, spinning their traps. Do your best to avoid them. The only thing you can do is to keep a wary eye open. Keep your attention bright, and do not lose hope that we will find our way back into the light. May the magnetic blessings of Mother Earth and Father Sky be upon you.
All right, thank you, Tom. So let's go back. You guys are recovering after your exploits at Philip Baxter's home, which has now been utterly destroyed by fire, a controlled fire by the fire station and the police. And you have collected a box of vials, a draft prepared by Father Baxter, Philip's older brother, and basically he talked about how these this special agent that he had created it just helps with sleep, right? So there is a like a meditation that he kind of taught you, and so the instructions are you take the entire thing. So you've got, how many is it, 10 or a dozen? How many do you have?
It was 10 vials.
10
vials.
And one went to the university, I believe.
One did go to the university. So the to use it, you take the whole thing, you prepare for sleep, have a silent meditation as you drift off to sleep, and then that will enhance your ability to have like lucid dreaming, is is what the father said, and then that will help with being able to explore your dreams and that kind of thing. At least that's what he was doing for his brother.
And yet his brother was, according to Myron, torn limb from limb by something. Spirit. There may be some danger here. I'm willing to go. I have some experience with dreaming, but who else wants to go?
There's no addictive additives to this?
According
University
to
examination said that it was just botanicals.
Yep.
Should be entirely harmless.
Hey, I would happily take the dip.
Well, my worries, gentlemen, is that Zeno and Zebedee by association are probably not the most, how do I say, impartial parties to be exploring some kind of dreams. I think it would be best if somebody like myself also took it, just so we have, like, I don't know, an actual baseline to compare it to.
Agreed. A measured
Less inclined
approach.
to imagination.
Your misplaced objectivity, yes, might come in handy.
Yes, the three of us can try. Yeah.
It would be good to have different perspectives in this.
And that leaves Cuthbert and I to keep an eye on you while you're under the influence, in case it has some untoward, psychoactive whatever. If anyone goes into convulsions.
Well, we don't have an antidote, but you said that it was just herbs.
Yeah, the report from the lab says that it couldn't possibly have been involved in Baxter's death. So, and it's not anything that he would consider potentially harmful.
Well, Cornelius and Myron, you're going to have to sleep tonight at some point.
And so don't you, I mean, we could all take it. Don't you have servants, don't you, Dexter? Who could watch?
Normally, we don't have anybody in the house overnight. My cook is purely a day worker. My housekeeper also goes home, but I could arrange to have someone in.
I doubt that it's going to be that
I
dangerous.
will place a call to my my general physician to call me at this number, if that's okay, in the morning, just to check in.
Yes, the phone ringing should wake us up.
And if there's no response, then would it be okay, Myron, to have him swing on by the house?
Oh, certainly. The housekeeper comes to prepare coffee and breakfast as well. So I could ask her to bring her husband.
Perfect.
I mean, it's a Sunday. People are free. Will be a Sunday in the morning, I trust.
We hope.
I'm just afraid I'm going to have nightmares from that horrific experience. Still, skin crawls with.
Yes.
It's all a part of nature.
I feel you, Cuthbert. It's just like our time in the war that shook us to the core, and now this.
Well,
I dare say that spiders the size of tennis rackets in Providence is not all a part of nature.
well, I think that they must have come here from somewhere else.
Well, they could have come from the coconuts.
The coconuts.
Yeah.
Was there not a desiccated rat? Perhaps one of its first victims.
And some kind of tropical spider. Although I had no look at these myself, but I'm aware of such large.
There are
arachnids
some
and
very large
tropics.
tarantulas, yes.
Yeah, they could in theory grow as big as the one. Yes.
Especially outside of
To
their
a certain
native
extent.
outside of their native habitat, they might grow much larger.
True, but
Maybe Baxter used to have a lot of rats in the cellar that they were consuming.
There could have been an egg case and a whole bunch of them hatched.
or he just had pet spiders.
No, we saw no evidence that he had pet spiders.
Yes, I know Zeno. I know.
There's no mention
Very
in the,
tiny leashes.
there's no mention in
You have to
the
walk up to the
morning
today.
paper.
Oh, I
Did-
imagine they'd keep
Morning
that hunched
paper.
up.
Okay, well, it would be interesting
mean-
to see if it's mentioned, if there's at least the fire mentioned.
It would just say an accident.
We'll have to
surely.
wait till morning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The fire should be
Yes.
mentioned. Well,
All right.
is it evening? Is it late evening?
Yes.
All right. Well, give me one of those vials.
Yes.
We're all going to sleep
So-
in the living room.
Yeah, we can. We can. A couple of us can bring in a couch from the front room, so we can all recline comfortably. We'll set a nice fire, since presumably while we're napping, we won't be attentive to it. And you say there's some kind of ritual preparation.
Yes.
No,
Is there
but
any
is this using it, or
requirements for that?
Was this
You both spoke at the same time.
these ritual preparations, are these your own Zeno, or did they come from the priest?
I don't actually remember. Did they come from the priest?
Yeah, the priest gave instructions, and it's nothing too ritualistic. It's take the vial, practice deep breathing, center your focus, and try to calm and still your thoughts, and just kind of focus on just like one central thought, and use that as your guidance to pull yourself into a deep level of sleep.
Yes. Meditation. So I'll sit over here.
So the five of you prepare. You get comfortable. You've brought in that couch. The fire is keeping everyone warm. Everyone has had maybe even some warm milk to drink or something, just to kind of set yourself up. And I take it everyone will have and consume a draft of the sleeping vial.
And just before we do that, I'm going to reach into my robes and I'm going to pull out some incense and throw it into the fire.
All right. Smells like chai tea now. Okay. So to take us into dreaming, Dr. Zeno, describe what a typical dream would be like for you as you drift off and begin to slumber.
Well, I concentrate on the darkness itself. I feel like I'm slowly drifting downwards, deeper and deeper and deeper into a kind of cavernous area, and out into the light, the daylight of the dream, wherever it may be.
And if this was a normal evening, what kind of dream would you be having?
Probably something peaceful, walking about, not in the city. The city's too dark. Green fields, beautiful trees, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So as you are drifting off to sleep, you find yourself in a green field, beautiful trees. There's a low stone wall running along and rolling up over the hill. and you find yourself on a footpath. And as you're just kind of following this path, you can hear birds off in the distance flitting about. And as you crest the hill and come over the top of the hill, the footpath continues ahead before you, but standing on the footpath, barring your way, is a wooden door with a door frame, a door jamb, but it's just freestanding there in the path, completely out of place.
I'll walk around it first to see if it's
Okay.
just flat.
Yeah, it's a freestanding flat door with a door jamb, door knobs on both sides, 6-panel wooden door.
And then back onto the side that I was on. I'll try the door and see if it opens.
And it easily, the brass knob turns and it swings inward. And as it swings inward, it's very dark through the portal, and you see a stairwell descending down into the darkness.
I'll go down.
As you begin to descend the stairwell, you soon become aware that the darkness has pressed in around you to where you can't even see your hand before you, yet you still have visibility of the steps that are before you. And as the darkness pushes in on you, silence pushes in on you as well. Your vision gets a little fuzzy, and things have there's a tone in the air that's very similar to maybe being underwater, and you're having a hard time hearing things that are going on. You continue to walk down this very long and winding stairwell that seems to go on and on until finally there seems to be a spark of light up ahead down below you. As you start approaching that spark of light, your vision is returning to where you can actually see yourself again, where, before, try as you might, you couldn't even see yourself. Yet the stairs were still visible. You could always see 2 to 3 steps ahead of you. Now that you've come into this cavern, and the cavern is illuminated by a pillar of fire, there's a column of fire from floor to ceiling, and it just is a rushing ribbon of fire. And now that you've kind of come into this chamber, you have visibility of yourself again, and you're now, whatever it is that you were wearing in your dream beforehand has been replaced by a very plain, rough, cotton, off-white, kind of almost like a pale yellow robe, very much like a toga. And as you're wearing this and looking at yourself, 2 figures come out from the opposite side of the cavern. They must have been beyond the column of flame, and its brightness, like looking into the sun, was preventing you from seeing them on the other side. But as they've walked around on either side, they come around, and then they come together. So now they're standing before you with the column of fire behind them, and so their faces are in deep shadow because of the super bright light source that's behind them. They're saying something, but you can't really make it out because the words that they're saying has that muffled sound effect of like being underwater. And so you can tell from hand gestures that the left one is speaking, then the right one is speaking, and then the left one is speaking, and then they seem to confer with each other, and then the left one has a hand out towards you and then gestures with the other hand, and he seems to be guiding you.
I'll go with him.
Nearby is a cavern wall, and there's an arch in the wall. And as he steps up to the arch, he gestures to the arch, and you see more stairs descending into darkness.
All right. When I look back up at him for confirmation, do I go there?
He again, even this close to him, you can't make out his features, but he just simply nods his head and gestures an arm towards the dark archway.
And I continue down the stairs.
Okay. You begin descending another dark and oppressive stairwell. Darkness and silence press in upon you again. You lose sight of yourself again. You can still only see, even in this pitch black darkness, you can still just see 2-3 steps ahead of you. You keep walking to the point where you feel like this is folly and madness. Where does this lead? And then just as you're ready to give up on this stairwell, because it seems to be going into the abyss of infinity, there's another light ahead. And as you slowly approach this light, you're finally able to start seeing more of yourself again. And your attire has changed once again. You seem to be wearing what looks like very rudimentary homemade cotton clothing, stitched and sewn together. The clear evidence that sleeves are added to a vest with no sleeves, so it's got the stitching right there at the shoulder. 3-4 buttons, large buttons. Drawstring breeches, and then leathered boots that are laced up almost up to your knee. But very simple, almost peasant clothing. Okay. You yourself have a large floppy hat with a large feather in it. And as you get closer to the light, you can see the light is another door. But this one, it looks smooth, and the door itself seems to be illuminating with light. And the handle is also this glowing gold handle.
I look behind me up the steps, and I reach for the door handle. I open it.
Okay. Touching the door handle, it doesn't even really open. It just seems to like almost not explode, but it just the whiteness of the light that the door is illuminating seems to brighten to the point where it forces your eyes to close. And as you reopen your eyes, you find yourself standing in a forest, and your companions are standing there as well. You're all wearing homemade, home-sewn clothing, very simple, very peasant-like, but clean. And you all had very similar experiences of a rudimentary dream where you encountered a strange door. You met 2 strange gentlemen, but you couldn't hear what was going on. And as you descended and came through, I need everyone to please make a sand roll, and I need everyone to spend 2 magic points, if you would, please.
I pass my sanity.
You will lose 0 sand.
Pass my sanity.
Pass.
Oh, you got 98.
Oh, insane Zebedee is going to lose 1 point of sand.
He runs off into the dragon's mouth.
I'm already pretty low. I don't want to get any lower.
I knew you'd show up eventually, Zeno.
That was a long descent, but we all agree that we are here.
The area of the forest that you're standing in seems to be a very small clearing, only about 10 foot around. You seem to be standing on a path, and the path, this must be the termination point, because the path only goes in one direction. There's no other, it's not like you're in the middle of a path. It's here and it goes away. And behind you, you do see a door, or not a door. You see a tree, and there is there seems to be a sigil etched into the tree.
Do we remember the map?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Like an upside down ampersand.
This is astounding. This dream. Are you all just versions of me? It seems like you're actually separate entities. There.
I've heard of people sharing dreams, but this is...
Well, we won't know that that's the case until we wake up.
Yes, this reminds me very much of what the metaphysicists at the Miskatonic talk about. This kind of woods.
Do any of us remember the map that we saw?
Map?
Oh, that's right. The map.
Let's see. Baxter's map.
There was a wood
There's the forest of Kleb.
and a bridge.
This could be a Kleb. Looks Kleb to me.
There should be a bridge and a river up ahead and a village.
I know that his goal was to the north of the map, the fortress or citadel or what it was. We should have, I guess, all passed around a photostat or carbon of that before we. Now let's see. Since I'm dreaming
You do have a memory, a fairly clear memory, of the map that was in the manila envelope that you received during the will reading for Philip Baxter. And you do recall from Philip's own dream journal notes about how he would he would enter the dreams through the same forest that he had called, or maybe he had learned was called, the Enchanted Forest.
Are we down low or are we on a hill? Are there any features that we can see, mountains or rivers?
The forest, you don't have visibility because the forest is so thick. But you're in a hilly, it's a hilly, light rolling hills.
It only seems like there's one direction we can go anyway.
Yeah. And you don't even have visibility of the sun. So the lighting seems just kind of ambient and difficult to tell what direction it's in.
Do we have anything that we had with us when we fell asleep?
You do not. You have whole different clothing and just no tools or anything with you.
Okay. Well, shall we walk forward?
Actually,
then?
I'll let each individual character make a luck roll.
Pass.
That's a pass. Oh, is that a... No, that's just a regular pass.
And a fail.
Yeah, fail, 64.
If you passed, there is something on your hip. Who all passed? Zebedee, Dr. Zeno? Anybody else pass?
I
Frederick?
passed.
Okay, so the three of you have something. There's something on your hip, and as you kind of pull at it, it unties. It was kind of looped around and tied to almost like a buttonhole that was in the pants as well. And you each have a small leather pouch that has it jingles. There's some coins in your pouch.
Excellent.
Points. What?
Well,
This
let's
is bizarre.
let's
This is
move
getting.
on down the road.
This is
Do I see like a maybe a walking stick or like a branch that is kind of straight I could pick up and use as a walking stick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will do so.
So you've got coins. Who's on them?
Let's have a look.
A king of some sort.
Yeah, the coins have rough edges, so it looks like they are individually minted and pressed from some sort of mold, and it's an imperfect mold, and it's not even tooled fine enough to have any kind of imagery on the coins. So they have it just looks like decorations. It looks like artistic design decorations and maybe a sigil of some sort. Maybe it's a type of number. It's hard to tell.
All this. Do you all have the same amount? I didn't get any in my dream.
None.
The banker doesn't get any money.
Each of you can roll a d6 plus 1, and that's how many coins are in your pouch.
Oh, I have 7.
I have 4.
There you go.
Well,
What do you think, Corny?
apparently
Did
they
you
use
and I-
money here.
Were you and I naughty in some way, and that's why we're being
We must have been.
stiffed?
Well, I don't see any need for the coinage now, so it may not prove of value, but who knows?
You look like I expect you to look, all of you.
Zeno's hat's a little garish, but other than that, everything seems to be fine.
Here's something that very few people in the real world know. I'm an only child, but I wasn't necessarily going to be. I had an older brother who was stillborn, whose name would have been Peter. If any of you know that when we wake up, then I'm not inventing you.
Right.
Very interesting.
Smart.
Well, I hope I'm making this up in my dream. Otherwise, I don't know what to make of it.
Otherwise, you might have to concede that I'm the superior physicist.
And I'm not crazy.
Oh dear. This has nothing to do with physics, Zeno.
If I met a unicorn,
Everything
it
in the
wouldn't mean that.
universe. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's just, just if I met a unicorn, it wouldn't mean that Zebedee wasn't crazy.
True, very true. I am a little.
All
There are
right.
more-
So
And this forest seems to be full of cats. They just keep showing up.
Oh,
all of the ones I can see are napping.
that may prove an advantage.
Shall we
So,
head
yes, we follow the path.
north, I guess? If
Well,
we can.
the path goes one way. We'll see whether it's leading us north. If we reach, a bridge
Or a sign, perhaps. One that we could read would be lovely.
or meet somebody who expects us to part with some of this curious coinage.
Might be wise if one of you find another good walking stick. A sturdy, robust stick might come in handy.
It's true. It doesn't. It helps the gate, and you never know if you're going to meet a ruffian in a bad dream. I'll look for a bit of a staff as well.
Sticks are very easy to find that you can use as walking sticks.
All right, I'll start off with a nice brisk walk down the path.
Is there anything about this world that does seem unusual from our world? Like
No.
purple trees or
No.
Opium in the air.
No.
Right.
Although maybe the season is, it was summer
It's fall
in
here.
Providence, and it seems to be autumn here. So you follow the path. Does everyone find a walking stick?
Why not?
Yeah, sure.
I do not.
All right. All but Zebedee has a walking stick. That's excellent. So you follow this path. The path winds. It rolls over some of the hills, and you probably are walking for about a half hour or so. And the trees seem to be thinning up ahead. As you move further ahead, you pretty much come out of this forest, and the path is still before you. And it goes ahead for a little ways, and then it seems to junction to another path. Now, you've been walking on what is clearly a footpath. It was one person wide, and you guys kind of fell into a single file movement just out of convenience of the path. But as this footpath reaches what really feels like a road, it's quite wide, and and you can see that there are tracks in it, rutted tracks. It looks like wagon tracks. It looks like hooved animal, and even shoed, horseshoed animals pulling these tracks. And then there are footprints as well. It looks like it seems to be a fairly well-traveled road, and you're coming to it perpendicular. So if the sun has any kind of movement that is similar to what you're accustomed to, you feel like this road is basically running a north-south route. You have reached it from the east side of the road.
So if we're going to the castle that Philip seems to have thought was a goal, then we are turning right.
Right. I concur. Right it is.
And you
Right.
said that the trees are thinning. Can we see any more of the landscape down below?
Yeah, you can see to the south, to your left. It looks like it's farmland, and you think you might be able to hear water that direction.
If we look across the road, do we see high rising mountains or mountain range?
Yes, there is a mountain range ahead to the west.
Oh, then perhaps we've got a decent position on the map here. Then I very strongly believe you're right in going turning right up the road here.
Very good.
I'm gonna as we're standing at this crossroads, there are footprints. You said, are there hoof prints as well? Does it look like there are horse wagons?
Yes, there's horse wagons, and traffic seems to be going in both directions, north and south.
I'm going to take my walking stick and just give a rather gentle rap to the calf of whoever's standing right in front of me.
Oh, what?
Okay. Let's let I determine who it is. Okay. So you strike someone in the calf.
I do.
Okay. Zeno. Myron has
doing?
struck you in the calf.
What are you doing, Myron?
1d8 damage. Oh, no.
Yeah. Sorry about that, old fella. I'm trying to figure out what the rules of this are, since it's not a real place. I've been trying to levitate, which I've heard people can do in their dreams, to no avail. I wanted to see whether physical sensations were as one might expect. And
Somehow
apparently,
this doesn't feel like a dream.
And a little bit of housekeeping. Everyone modify your character sheets. We're going to add 2 skills.
Ooh.
We're going to add the skills Dream Lore, 2 words, Dream Lore, and we're going to add the skill Dreaming.
I already have both of those.
Well,
Hey, Zeno.
if you do not have them, if you do not have those skills, your Dream Lore comes in at a base 10%. Your Dreaming skill is a base 0, or for 7th edition, it'll be a base 1, a 0-1. But with that out of the way.
so does that suggest that if I had rolled a 1, I might have been able to levitate, as Myron was fantasizing about being able to do so because it was a dream?
Yeah, if you want to try and do that.
There's very little risk.
I'd love to try as well. I used to have great fond dreams of
I'm telling you, this isn't quite a dream.
I'll have you note that neither of those skills I just wrote down were physics, so this is different than physics, Zeno.
So far,
you
no.
wrote something down on something? That's physics.
So I failed miserably. Does that hurt me? I rolled a
No.
57. Oh, good.
I think the trip is to try to fall down and miss.
Oh, please demonstrate.
I'm not interested. I think this is more real than a dream. I've never had a dream so incredibly detailed.
Oh, so I am apparently also on your same level in these matters that you care so much about.
There are things behind my back, and they're consistently there. That's never happened in a dream before. If my mind is making this all up, it's too detailed. I'm not God.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling.
We agree about one thing at last. Now that we're out in the open, there's still no celestial body visible,
No,
So-
it's day.
including a sun.
Yeah, there's a sun.
Okay.
Yeah, you see a single sun, no stars.
Does it
Good.
look like our sun? Like sort of, it's not emanating a different color of any sort?
Not a different color. It looks yellow. It looks about the same size. Seems to have you seem to have gravity, wind.
Question. So I know it's autumn, but gauging by kind of if I can roughly judge the angle of where the sun is in the sky, thinking it's somewhere in autumn. I'm just trying to guess what time it is.
Are you trying to use physics?
I'm trying to use astronomy.
Yes, that's pretty easy for you to do. This is first year astronomy. And so it looks like you're probably about midday.
Zeb,
The assumption that the sun moves from east to west in this world.
You guys hear the clip clop of hooves
Hmm.
coming near,
From the north or the south?
coming from the north.
Is the party visible yet, or behind a
Uh,
rise or something?
Yeah, there's a roll, a hill and everything, and so do you guys do anything to prepare, or
Are
Step
you
there
to the
just
side of the
bushes to duck
road.
behind?
what was that, Cornelius?
Are there bushes or a large clump of trees to duck behind so not all of us are in clear view?
Yeah, you just came out of a forest right behind you.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't know, like, is it like a skinny trees and no lowland cover foliage? Or...
Yeah, I mean it's skinny trees, but there is some shrubbery and stuff, so you'd be able to moderately hide back over there if you wanted.
Okay, it might be wise for a couple of us to at least duck out of
What
sight.
are you? What are you so worried about?
I have no idea. We're in a bizarre land, and
We're in a dream.
Don't you
I
know,
know.
Frederick? If you die in a dream, you die in real life.
Ooh.
That may be
This-
true.
this is
That
bizarre.
could be true.
We should take precautions. At least I will. I would recommend at least one other to do the same.
I'm simply going to step to the side of the road to allow them to pass and to ask
Okay.
them questions.
Yeah, I want to know what language they speak.
I will also step aside. I won't hide, but step aside.
So all of us are waiting by the side of the road, except for Cornelius, who has gone behind a tree.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. So soon enough, you see a single horse drawn wagon come over the hill, and there are two adults sitting, and it's like a buckboard wagon, and there's two adults sitting up on the bench, up high, with the reins and driving the horse, and the wagon seems to be laden with cargo. And as they pull closer, you can see that there's a couple of kids sitting in the back as well, and the back of the wagon is straw and hay lined, and there's just piles and piles of gourds. There's pumpkins and squashes of different sizes and colors, but it's pretty full of these gourds, and so they see you guys, and as they're approaching, and they kind of do a little wave.
Are they dressed like us?
Yeah, they seem to have peasant style clothing, handmade, hand sewn, like you're wearing.
Okay.
Do we hear them chattering and conversing?
I mean, they seem to be riding in silence, and the kids are laughing and they seem to be chitty chatting with each other, but it seems to be in English.
Hey, can you stop for a moment, if you would?
And yeah, they pull the horses to a stop, and they look down at you from where they're seated up high, and hoy there. Is there some trouble, or are you lost?
No trouble. But well, my companions and I were rather new here.
We're travelers. We don't know where we are. What lies ahead?
Ah, well, we're from Kirin, but we're heading to Uthar for market.
So
Oh,
Uthar's back that way,
To the south. Mm-hmm.
but we wanted to go north anyway, didn't we?
To Kieran. Yeah, we want to go to Kieran.
About how far is it to? Sorry, where did you say you were from again?
Kirin, just the village of Kirin.
Kieran, how far away are we from there?
Oh, I mean, we left this morning, so it's several hours.
All right.
All right. Is there anything that we should be I guess aware of? Any predators
dangers
in the
along the
woods?
Well, the road was kind to us. I would assume it'd be kind to you.
Thank you.
Am I hungry at all, Keeper?
Sure, you can be hungry.
If it's going to be a bit of a walk, then, friends, you have handsome gourds, but we have no way to prepare them. If you've got anything fresh, we can picnic on as we walk. My friend
well-
has at least 7 coins.
We broke our fast this morning, but We're nearly to Uthar. We're planning to eat in Uthar.
How far is it to Uthar?
I say we should be there fairly quickly.
Would they have a cart and horses for us to rent in Uthar?
Uthar is a magnificent city. It's nothing like Kirin for sure. Kirin is but a farming village.
Would you mind if we hitched a ride with you to Ulthar?
Please jump aboard. Jump aboard. Don't mind the kids.
Thank you. So we take the kids and toss them.
Yeah.
I'll casually, calmly walk out.
Bandit. Oh.
No, he just has a small bladder.
Hello there.
His rather plump wife chuckles at that.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys climb aboard the wagon.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. He gets the horses going, and they start walking down the road again. I mean they're moving at a pace that might be just slightly faster than a walk, right? So they're not trying to make any kind of time. They're not racing for time. But true to his word, it doesn't take long. The road winds a little bit. There's a couple more low hills. Soon enough you can hear quite clearly the sound of water moving, a river, a stream of some sort, and eventually you can see plowed fields. You can see that there's rows of crops, and then you can actually see men with plows, hand drawn, donkey drawn, but hand steered plows, tilling the fields and stuff, and there's whole families out there working in these fields. And the road goes through this like really small, it looks like an out village, farming village, and Boris, the man is Boris and his wife is Doris, so Boris and Doris tell you that this is the village called Near. And up ahead is the bridge, and there is Uthar. And you guys see a magnificent city. It seems to be very medieval in design. It reminds you of things that you've seen in books and photographs in books. Unless any of your characters are worldly traveled and have had the opportunity to travel through Western Europe, you're seeing what looks like a very old world, medieval, if you will, city, and it's walled. It's got a really high wall, and you can see there is there seems to be a large rise deep in the city, and some sort of castle up on that rise. The river is no joke. This is a really big river, and it actually can support river traffic, like shipping on this river. So
at least 50 feet across.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good. Think Mississippi. Mississippi River. That's full, right? It's not a down year. This is a nice full river, and there's a grand stone bridge with many supporting archways all the way across, and so this bridge is also quite wide for two-way trafficking on this bridge. and the sound even changes as the horse's hooves are now stamping on stone as opposed to dry packed dirt. The sound of the wheels rolling and sometimes skipping on the stones, on the cobblestones that make up this bridge, sound differently. And it takes several minutes, to probably almost 10 minutes to kind of cross this bridge, at the slow pace that they work. And as you also got into the village called Near, as Boris said, you're starting to see more and more people, right? You're seeing who are probably clearly villagers with wheelbarrows, right? I mean, they're pushing by hand wheelbarrows with the apples and other goods in them, and they're on foot pushing these wheelbarrows across the bridge and going over to the grand city of Ulthar. So it doesn't take long, and you guys are across the bridge. You're past you go through a large gate, and you can see, as your imagination would suppose, there seems to be like city guard. They all seem to have seem to be wearing some kind of mail with a cloth tabard over them to decorate themselves, almost like a uniform. They've got a very simple skull cap kind of helmet. Each of them seems to be armed with a large pike and what looks like a short sword slung to their hip. So yeah, it seems like this has got like city guard, and inside this place is alive. There are people everywhere. There's little buildings built everywhere. It's that kind of architecture where the ground floor actually has a smaller footprint than the upper floor. So the upper floor kind of has that little bit of an overhang, above, which I never understood how they did that. But, there's an overhang. And so the second story, and possibly even a third story, they would be the same, dimensions, but they kind of overhang over above the footprint of the first floor. But there's all kinds of, shops and blocks of these buildings slapped together, and so there's central roads, you see side alleyways and just people all over the place, kids running around.
Is
this
there
place
any
is
legible signage?
Yeah, legible signage. It seems to be that this nation communicates in English.
And the folks look like European peasants of random magical.
They look like European peasants, and they have a variety of skin tones, but they all seem to be speaking the same language and seem to have the same similar demeanor. So yeah, you can see there's a rise with a castle, which from your perspective would be basically kind of off to the east, and you can see there's some other large structure kind of behind you off to the west, and Boris and Doris bring the wagon through this main road up to a certain point, and you can see there's almost like a little protected area of greenery. There's like a green space, a park in here, and Boris pulls the cart to an end and says, "Welcome to Ulthar."
Many thanks to you, friend Boris.
Yes,
Is there any sort of authority here in Ulthar that we should address ourselves to as travelers from afar?
Oh, you don't have to check in with anyone. Certainly. Um,
Who lives in the castle?
that would be the Burgermeister's palace.
Burgermeister Meisterburger.
Burgermeister Meisterburger. Yeah. That's where old Cranon lives. But yeah, Uthar is just it's a pleasant place. It's a very happy city, and people are quite content here. Beware of the cats. Just be kind to cats. So have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again someday.
Yes,
And
Well,
Same to
good
you.
luck with your gourds. They're lovely. And they should sell for a tidy profit.
well, we hope so too. Need to go and offload this. So have a good day. And he
I'll give him a
cracks his
coin.
horse.
Cheers, Boris.
I'll give him one of my coins.
Oh,
As a token of gratitude.
he's incredibly thankful. Oh, you are too kind. Thank you very much. And he says he bids adieu, and he kind of makes a fairly sharp turn and heads off in a direction that seems as if it will take him to an area that's near the river. He's going to a wharf type of area near the river.
Wonder, my friends, if these others are also dreamers.
Well, guys, it doesn't feel weird. It feels like we've almost traveled back in time rather than dreaming.
Don't look now, Zebedee, but there's one of those cats behind you. Make sure you treat it kindly.
Jesus. Oh, yes, I'll treat it kindly. Don't worry, very good.
There's cats all
Good.
over the place.
Zeno, what would you guess? Time in dreams is strange. Do you think we will sleep for 8 hours and have 8 hours in this world and we're already through a couple of them? Or do you think we'll be here for weeks?
I think we could be here for weeks if dreams work that way.
Well, man, if these are all dreamers, I can't imagine why you'd want to get home from work and then, work as a farmer for a couple of months and then wake up and go to work again.
It just
Doesn't seem
doesn't
very restful
feel.
to me.
Doesn't feel like a dream.
Seems very pleasant, though. It's
It
does so
beautiful.
far.
It feels like we've gone back to Europe.
Ancient medieval Europe.
It's
If
weird,
everybody here is as
fascinating.
mild-mannered as Boris and Doris, I could take over Ulthar in a couple of weeks, I imagine.
Well, they seem like there must be some crime rate because we have guards with weapons. There
Who's
must be
that?
some bad things.
Well, he was very worried about the cats, Myron. You might have to contend with them for control.
If I see a cat, I'm going to go over to it. And
There are cats everywhere. Yeah.
scratch it or pet it or whatever.
Do we recognize the symbols on the talbards of the guards from our history books? Or this would be a great question for Zeb. Zeb, do these images on the talbards strike a chord with you?
I will think. Sorry, the cats. There's so many. They distracted me for just a brief second. Yes, I'll inspect them closely. You trying to use my historical knowledge?
Yeah, give me a history roll.
Ooh, 09.
Oh,
That is an extreme. Yeah, that should be. Yep, that's an extreme.
Yeah, so the tabards that they wear do have a a crest on them, a shield design type of crest, divided in 4 quadrants. And it's not one that you recognize. There is a red and black diamond pattern in one quadrant. There is a yellow field in another quadrant, and in that yellow field is a black silhouette of a cat. Another quadrant is just a field of red, and then another quadrant has bars of green and black. Yeah, so it's not a crest that you recognize from history.
Yes, it may all look fancy and medieval, but I don't recognize the crest at all, and I know my fair amount of crests, and I know my knowledge about that kind of stuff, and it doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but who knows? If this is really a dream, then it may not exist. And they have a fascination for cats. That man told us to be kind to the cats. The cats are everywhere. They seem to be walking the streets like normal people, almost.
I wonder if they're speaking English only because the 5 of us primarily communicate in English.
Are we speaking
Possibly.
English or are we speaking Dreamish?
Very true.
Everyone here speaks the same.
Well, how would we ever know the difference?
We would not. It's like an auto translator almost.
Well, it's the language of thought, not the language of the tongue.
Well, that depends. Is there a word that rhymes with orange? Because if there's a word that rhymes with orange, then it's dream language, and if there's not, then it's English.
Sporange.
I said a word. So we're going to try to hire a wagon that will take us back the way we've come to see if we can get to the castle that Philip wanted to get to.
And get some rations as well.
Yeah, I do dream that I'm hungry.
Did Philip leave anywhere in any of his journal notes why he was trying to get to that castle?
I remember that he spoke about having certain aspects of his dream repeat themselves, including, I think, perhaps his 2 guides, which we may have seen. I don't know what he was after, and my impression is again that Philip was deteriorating in a significant way toward the end. But if we, oh right, and we're supposed to run across him here somewhere because he ran across us.
We should maybe ask around if anyone knows a Philip Baxter.
I will.
It's a good shout.
Everyone may make a power roll. Let me know your level of success.
Power.
That is a hard success.
Oh, darn. I'm 1 point away from hard success.
It's a 96, so the opposite of an extreme success.
And 79 is a failure as well.
If you had a hard success or better, you are also filled with a sense of deja vu as you're walking around this this village, this town.
Feels all of a sudden I feel like I've been here before.
Did that same cat just walk by?
No.
That's a glitch in the
Matrix.
If this is a dream, have I dreamt being here before? I don't know. Just a passing feeling.
It certainly is possible that we would not remember things. Often we wake up and we can't remember our dreams.
Exactly.
A fragment, yes, and they do say some things fragment in your mind, and especially in dreams. Who remembers their dreams unless you keep a dream journal?
Exactly.
Do I have a sense of smell?
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever had a sense of smell in dreams. Fellows?
No.
We seem to have all of our senses here.
As I said, it doesn't feel like we're dreaming. It feels like we've gone back in time rather than dreaming.
There was never a time where people spoke American English and wore handmade fiber clothes and built such a, I don't know.
No,
It reminds me of Little Nemo. Do you read Little Nemo in the papers?
Yes.
A bit like that.
The kid on the bed?
He ends up in bed, yeah, but he goes to all sorts of palaces and whatnot.
Oh.
That's the
Very
symbol.
nice.
No, I'm not saying we have gone back in time. It just feels like it feels it.
Excellent. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that symbol, that crest is on all the guards. It's a consistent crest, not like a cluster of guards have one set, another cluster.
Nope. Nope. They seem to be wearing a male iron, the metal armor,
Chainmail.
and then like a chainmail, and then they've got this white tabard that they wear over, and it's belted and cinched closed, but that crest is on both back and front.
Like a kettle helm or a skull cap, you're saying something like that.
How many cats do we see like walking? How many are there around? Is it?
I mean,
it's a handful, or
the road isn't clogged with them, but when you see cats, you typically see them in clusters of 4 to 6, and they're darting off doing cat things.
Yeah. Everyone's just treating them normally, like just walking by.
And they act like...
You seem to be, this park that you're at, they act like...
they act like ordinary cats, or are they like, they're not smoking and talking or anything like that?
No. They're acting like normal cats. So you guys seem to be in this like a central park kind of place, a green space in here. There seems to be many of the buildings seem to be double purpose, residential are these upper story things, but ground floor, you see all kinds of different businesses, they might be small food businesses, not like full-blown restaurants, it might have maybe max seating of 10 available, right? So they're really small little food vendors or other types of small wares kind of shops.
Let's say we follow our noses.
And there's just people all over the place. I mean, this is a living city with all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, let's follow an appealing scent and have ourselves a meal, and then we'll travel north.
Do you think it might be prudent to ask around for Philip Baxter, see if that's a known name?
It wouldn't hurt to try. If we've had a map and we seem to know that he has been here possibly, so it's worth a shot.
I mean, as long as he's not on the most wanted list, and then we would be killed by association. But...
Yes.
Well, here, I'll stop somebody on the street and ask them if they know Philip Baxter.
That's fair.
Looking for the baker. There's a baker down the way. Out of my way.
Well, it would seem that not everybody is as amiable as Boris and Doris.
Of course.
Doris.
Their daughter, Chloris.
Maybe we should have asked Boris if he had
Their
That's
pet
nice.
cat Morris.
Their son Horace. Among the various small businesses, are there tobacconists?
Absolutely.
Are there news vendors?
You don't see news vendors? No.
Is there a bookstore?
You don't see a bookstore.
It seems to me like this is a few hundred years ago.
I mean, the coins seem 2,000 years ago. I'm a little bit of a numismatist for obvious reasons.
But you notice
although
we
very-
don't see guns either.
No.
Yeah, no, it's a curious setting that does not belong anywhere in the Earth's historical charter. Anyway,
but it is
I'd like
fast-
something like a bean soup. How's a bean soup sound to you? It seems like something you
Yes.
should have in a world like
Yeah.
this.
Sounds delicious.
This is
Yes.
what, about 1500s, 1400s? 14, yeah,
Earlier,
probably
Perhaps.
earlier than that.
1300s. Yeah, actually, probably more like 1200s. Yeah.
Yes, it is fascinating, though, this place.
And
Very
the people
fascinating.
don't smell bad, do they?
Most of the people seem to be fairly clean. But there are some, smells. I mean, there's horse manure in the streets, and
Sure.
so there's all kinds of smells.
And we've seen cats and horses, and maybe a few dogs.
Donkeys.
We haven't seen any like pet dragons or
Right.
other imaginary sort of. There's not a unicorn phalanx.
It
No.
seems rooted in what we would think is reality, and it feels real. Let's see if the
Yes.
food tastes.
Well, we've been able to smell, and we can hear, and we can feel. So surely we should be able to taste.
It also doesn't seem to be any better or worse than the regular world.
Well, we haven't seen any lepers
Hmm.
yet, so it's better than the real world in that regard. Unless the lepers are in the next quarter.
But we don't see flowers that glow magically beyond all, or
There's no
Water
bodies
that
stuck up
sparkles or-
on stakes or
No, there is not.
spikes. No guards being roughhousing anybody or.
Mm-mm.
Well, let's see what our money can buy here.
And I would also allow a idea roll from everyone, and I'd like to know if anyone makes a hard success or better.
Ooh, I think I just
A
did.
72
Hard.
is a no success.
Oh,
Hard.
Standard pass.
Okay.
fail.
So yeah, you guys have decided to maybe try and find some food, and then maybe kind of figure out what your next steps are going to be beyond that. And then Dr. Zeno, I think, is the only one who had the hard success.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Zeno, as a group, you guys have kind of come to this consensus. You recall something that you've read in Philip Baxter's dream journal. And so if I may, to kind of jog your memory, these two passages come back to mind in particular.
Let's see, as I recall from the dream journal, it said this: eventually I came to a library and decided to visit. I remember looking at a great number of very strange volumes, but one named Kfat Aquadonen, I think, had information about God, who lived somewhere in a jungle and could answer any question that was asked of him. I don't remember anything else in particular, but when I left, I thought I saw a dark, evil-looking little man lurking some distance behind me in the crowd. He followed me quite some time before I managed to shake him, and it was only then that I remembered seeing him when we first entered the city, working with a shady carnival show in a garish tent. Not long after my adventure with the dwarf, I felt the urge to leave, and taking the same gate out of Ulthar, I was soon again in the wood, remembering the password taught to me by my friend. He said it was Sheba, the name of his cat. I was careful to pass through the darker parts of the forest as quickly and quietly as I could, never straying from the path. I next remember climbing many, many stairs, and then I was awake again. I never had a dream like this one before. Could it have been the drug? Now, I came down those stairs. I definitely remember that.
Yes, I came down those stairs.
So, to wake up, do we have to go back to that same spot? With the sigil on the tree.
Maybe.
And the password is Sheba. That's going to be important
Sheba.
for us to recall.
And what question did we need to ask of God?
I don't know, but I'll stop somebody else on the street since I'm being such a nuisance today, and I'll ask, where's the library?
All right, great. Yeah, you stop this woman, and she said, "Oh, the library. Well, it does tend to move around, doesn't it? I haven't had the opportunity or the inclination to visit it myself. I don't know actually where it is today, but if you do find it, that's a good lucky day for you, isn't it? As they say."
It moves?
Of course it moves. It's the library.
Oh, that's right, of course.
Where's a
Lucky
good
day
place
for
to
you
get?
if you should find it.
Where's a good place to get bean soup?
Oh, well, excellent question. Just down this way, and you'll want to talk to Hazel. Hazel has the best soup. You'll see her her shingle out the door. Wonderful place. Wonderful place.
Hazel.
All right, Hazel.
Great name.
Hazel,
Great.
the soup woman.
Thank you so much.
Library moves.
But Hazel doesn't.
I'll try.
Well-
I'll try asking one of the cats.
Okay.
Do you know where the library is?
And it just twirls through your legs.
Okay.
Do you really want to find the library?
I'm gonna look at that book. I mean, that book, whatever's in it. If this is,
Do you want to eat first and then go to the library?
Have food first would be a good idea, and then continue on our quest for the library.
the order to, I don't mind eating first, but apparently
Right.
finding this library is going to be a bit more of a challenge than I thought.
Perhaps not. You gave me an idea. But we'll discuss it after we eat.
Well, let's go find Hazel then.
Hazel
Right.
it is.
Hazel's shop is easy enough to find. Once you're close enough, you can smell it, and it's exactly what you were looking for. Bean soup, and it's fantastic. There's homemade bread, and there's fresh fruits, and it's a pretty good and satisfying meal.
Very
And-
good.
And all in all, it costs you for the entire group. She calls them 2 bits, and she takes 2 coins.
Do all of the coins look to be the same denomination, or do
They all
some-
seem to be the same. Yep.
Well, we're going to have to find a way to make money, but
Some kind of it's a silver. It looks like it's a silver metal, but she calls it 2 bits and accepts 2 coins.
all right. I don't know if this is going to work, but I liked your idea. It's just you're not quite as attuned as I may be. And I go up to a cat and I say, "Would you kindly take us to the library?"
What was that spell name?
Command cat.
That's the name of it?
I think that's what it was. Something like that. I don't know where my notes are. I thought I had all that printed out. Yes, I can talk to cats.
I had a dream once where I met the god Bast. She was scary, but generous.
Okay. Expend. I found it. Oh, nice. Expend 1 magic point and expend D3 sanity.
Ah, that's just 2 sanity. Okay.
Okay. And then your command was what?
Please take us to the library.
All right. So yeah, this cat, this Tom, sits there and it looks at you and it kind of looks at all. It makes eye contact with all 5 of you, and it meows, kind of loud actually. It turns from the perch that it's sitting on and seems to kind of, meow out into the air, into the ether, and seemingly out of nowhere, 3 more cats kind of run in from just around different corners and whatnot. They must have been mousing around somewhere, and these extra cats kind of run in, and the one that Zeno was speaking to leaps down to the ground and joins its companions, and they seem to have a cat conversation. And then the Tom that was that you spoke to, Zeno, it looks up at you and meows again, and then all 4 cats take off in unison, and they start running down this one road, and they run for a bit and then stop, and walk in circles as they're waiting for you guys.
This way.
All the cats.
I'll follow.
Okay. Yeah, so they do this for a little while. You guys, first they take you down through down a major road, and then there's an alleyway nearby, and then 3 of the 4 cats head into the alley, and one sits at the head of the alley, kind of crying and meowing at you guys until you show up.
We follow.
And then once you guys show up, you guys start following the cats, and that 4th one, catches back up to his buddies, and you guys start walking down this alley, twisting and turning, and you're, as you guys are heading down this alley, there are a few people back here. This is like residential only kind of traffic, right? You're only down in this alley if you live here. So as you guys are coming down here, following a small group of cats, women who are scrubbing laundry in a bucket, they just silently they just leave their laundry right there. They just stand up, they go inside their home, and they shut the door, right? And so there's a lot of doors shutting in y'all's faces as the cats are darting through puddles and going down these darkened alleys. And then finally it gets to a certain spot, and so there's you're not even sure where you're at. You're deep in this alley, and it comes up to a home, and it has those like cellar doors, where they're almost laying on the ground. They only have a slight pitch to them, but it's right there. And so the cats run up and are sitting on those doors and just kind of meowing and barking at you guys to get your attention.
Did the people closing the doors, were they looking more at us or the cats? Did we notice where their angst was geared towards?
You can make a psychology roll.
Ooh, 23. But I think I don't have psychology though. Darn. Yeah, I don't. So yeah, that was a fail.
Well,
Okay.
they've seen
Hard to tell.
cats. Probably us. But
Hard to tell. And do remember, we are in a campaign. So if you are successful with a skill that did not require luck to be successful, be sure to tick that skill. You may get you'll definitely get another opportunity to do some skill improvements at a later date. So these cats are sitting on these cellar doors until you guys arrive, and then once you guys get close enough, they get off the cellar doors and are standing on the ground. Two of them are on the right, and two of them are on the left, and they're sitting there by the cellar doors.
I'll go to open the doors.
Okay. All right. You pull the doors open, and the cats kind of get out of the way, and you see some stone steps going down.
Okay, do the cats go down?
The cats do not.
Okay.
Is it lit or is it pitch black?
I mean, there's light down there. Yeah, it's not going into darkness.
I'll
step
start
down.
heading down.
Must be the place. I'll turn back to the cats and say, thank you. You please return to your business.
They kind of screech and meow at you, and then all four of them just kind of take off in different directions.
And I glare over at Frederick.
You know, and Zeno, if you can do that in Providence, then we'll have some stuff to talk about.
So far, I've been a little successful in Providence with my own cat.
That was bizarrely enlightening. I enjoyed that. Zeno, you have some tricks up your sleeves.
Are any of you coming?
Yes,
Oh, I'm heading right down. I'm down there.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I'll be even more amazed if this actually is the library.
How's the air coming up from the stairwell? Smell like a cellar or old books, or like an abattoir?
Smells like fish, because that's what the cats really went for.
It does smell like books. It has that paper smell.
A library. Ooh, yes.
Cornelius, you'll be at home.
The Dewey Decimal System. I could bring it to them.
So you descend the stairs. It goes about 8 feet or so down, and it comes to a hallway. And the hallway seems level. It's a stone corridor, stone floor, stone arched corridor. And as you head down it, it only goes about 10, 12 feet or so. And there's an opening, and you can see light through that opening. And so as you go through that archway into this room, you come out, and you're basically on a balcony. You're on a balcony. The floor is of a rich mahogany carpeting. It's a deep red carpeting, and there's brass railings and stuff, and brass handle rods, handrails, and you're on this balcony, and you're in what looks like a huge round room, like 200 feet diameter room, and there's a domed ceiling, and it's got in the very center of the dome is like a Rosetta stained glass ceiling, and then the other parts of the ceiling are painted with imagery and stuff, a very Sistine Chapel type of ceiling paintings, that kind of feel, right? And so you're up on this balcony that kind of overlooks this 200-foot diameter room, this pit room, and this room, it looks like it's just filled with little low shelving, pie wedge kind of shelving that seems, from this angle, it looks like those are low bookshelves filled with volumes. There's tables all over the place, like little reading tables all over the place. In the center of the room, it looks like it is some sort of like librarian booth, station, just right the dead center of the circular room. And on the fringes of the room, you can see that there are other elevated platforms like you're on, and and from these platforms, there's 2 stairwells that go down on either side that go down to the sunken library ahead of you. But you can also see, so the platforms each have a little arched doorway, much like your own, that you just came through. And but then down below in the pit, you can see that there are other arched doorways that just kind of tunnels that go off into many different spoked directions, all the different cardinal directions, as many spokes of a wheel kind of going off in different directions. So just all kinds of exits to this place. And this place seems to be just teeming with people moving around, all kinds of people moving about, and small conversation goings on in all kinds of places. People seem to have books out and are at tables, and some are clustered around a single book, and some tables have people with each their own book doing some reading or meditating or consulting of some sort. But you have found the library.
I'm wondering if all these archways and doors lead to various places throughout the city, or perhaps throughout the land.
Who knows? Apparently, they might lead to different places at different times.
Oh, at different times even. I hadn't thought of that.
I mean, they said it moved.
Yeah, not just in space, but perhaps in time too. That's an interesting theory. Well, I'll start descending the staircase down towards to get a closer look at some of these books.
At one of these inbuilt desks or tables, are there pens or pencils, bits of scrap paper?
It looks like there are quills, bottles of ink, and parchment paper. I need everyone, while you're on this platform, just as you're getting ready to descend down, I need everyone to give me a spot hidden, please.
Ooh.
Regular.
26.
Extreme.
Hard.
Regular.
Fail. Cornelius. You're very excited to be here, Cornelius. And so you're excited, just to kind of be in this library and to see what is all available here. The people that are in here, in your short time of being in this wondrous place, your mind's eye, your vision of everything around it has already become accustomed to the people who are populating this realm. They all have a very similar look to them. The handmade clothing, similar to what you're wearing, and all this stuff. So you see a person who, due to his skin tone and his attire, he seems to stand apart from all the other people that are now kind of filling, the background white noise of what this universe is, right? Because everyone seems to look the same-ish, except for this guy. You see a guy across. He's pretty far. He's on the opposite side of this circle. He's an albino, like stark white hair. He's seated at a table, but he was kind of moving around, and then he sat down. But what also kind of struck you is his attire. He seems to be wearing what we would equate to as Native American clothing. Like native, right? Not modern, but historical native. So it looks like leather animal kind of pants, that are sewn, fringed. He's got some kind of stick. Maybe it's bone, stick or bone. Shirt. But it's just basically, it doesn't even cover his full chest. He's broad chested, lean, muscular. But it's just a small portion of his chest. He does have some feathers that are tied into his hair, but they're laid down across his shoulder, down on his shoulder and stuff. But yeah, he has a very lean, muscular look to him, and just facial features, hair length, and clothing is reading Native American to you, except add the element of stark albino.
Fascinating. Without causing commotion, I casually point this out to my comrades here.
I see him. Yes.
That's very that's interesting.
It's the only one here like that.
I'm sorry. Maybe I misunderstood. Does he have the physical features of a Native American, or does he look European facially?
He looks Native American.
Okay.
This is
an albino.
This is fascinating.
Have you seen him in your dreams before? And probably he came from one of our imaginations. Even if we are here as a group, this place can only be made up of our imaginations.
I've looked into Native Americans before, but not out part of it. I haven't seen anything like this before.
I mean, you can sit here and lollygag and kind of
Myron,
stare at the man, or you can go over there and talk to him. I'm going to try to find the librarian. I want to find this book.
Okay. I would definitely like to speak to this man.
I'd like to just look around.
I'll go with you, Zeb. I'd love to see what he's reading. And
yeah, I'm just fascinated. I haven't seen an albino Native American man before. This is.
Don't be rude.
I'm not going to be rude. Don't worry. I just want to get a closer look. It's fascinating.
All right. Well, I think we have some different interests. Is there any kind of marker on the platform that we've arrived at? Like, is it, mid-level 16, or, is there signage?
No.
The place seems very samey and easy to get lost in. It's like a giant dartboard of books.
It does look very much the same. There are, like I said, the walls and the ceiling are covered in paintings.
So we can agree to meet under the peasant holding a fig painting on the ceiling?
Yep.
We'll meet in the center of the
just
circle.
Head to the middle.
If you get lost,
Well,
head to
the center's where the librarian is, and
right.
Presumably I'll just push into the same space. Whatever you like. I'm going to go down one of the tunnels. I'm curious to see what other arenas there are of knowledge in this place.
I want to find the section on magic.
All right. So where's everyone going?
I'm going to the reference desk or whatever.
The center desk where there is a person behind that desk.
Yeah, that's who I'm going to.
All right. So you're going to the center. Where's Cornelius going?
I'm going over to the albino just to
with me.
With Zeb.
All right. So Cornelius and Zebedee. Myron, where are you going?
I'm going down the stairs from this platform and then down a tunnel from it, or under, away from the center.
Okay. There is a tunnel right below you.
That's the one.
Okay. And Dr. Zeno?
I'm going to look at the books as I go along and see if I can find the section on magic.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's start with Frederick. Frederick, you head over to the central desk, and there's a gentleman there, and he is dressed what you might assume a friar monk might be dressed. Long brown robes with a hood, tied with a cord around his waist, and he seems to be he's got stacks of books that he's like organizing and doing stuff with, and he's got a quill pen that he'll dip in ink and maybe jot a note on the inside front cover of one or two, and then close that book with the note, and it goes in that stack, and now he's doing something else. And so when you come up, he sees you, and he says, just 1 second, if you will, sir.
Oh,
1
no.
second, indeed. And he finishes organizing what he's doing, and he says, yes, sir, how can I help you?
Yes, I am looking for a particular book that I believe you have in your collection here. Azathoth Aquanonin.
Oh, say that again.
Cathot Aquanonin. I'm not sure I'm
Yes,
pronouncing it correctly.
You're doing very well, sir. Yes, I appreciate. I must apologize, though. Quite surprising. You are the second person today to ask me about that book. But I am sorry. It is presently in use. You will have to wait for that gentleman over there to finish with it. And he points at the albino Indian.
Oh.
And you do see two of your companions kind of starting to thread their way through. Again, he's on the far other side, and so you guys are only halfway across this circle, so there's still the other half to go.
I'll ask him this then. Well, are there any other volumes that cover the same subject material that I could peruse in the meantime?
Oh, I don't believe so. You might want to ask Nodor, but I don't know where that fool has gone.
Nodor. Well, if I...
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
If you see Nodor, just ask him. He should know more.
And what is your name?
Oh, I am Turkor.
Well, it's very nice meeting you, Turkor. Thank you so much for your help.
Anytime.
I'm never
Cornelius.
gonna intercept.
Yes.
Zebedee. You guys are heading that direction. Each of you may make a spot hidden.
Ooh. That is a standard pass.
That is a nice 74, which is a fail.
Very nice. Cornelius, as you guys are kind of, moving your way through, there are lots of people in here. And as you're kind of moving up, some people just happen to stand up from the table that they were seated at. So they stand up, their chair backs up, and it suddenly blocks you guys, momentarily blocks you guys. And it's in that moment, the albino, the way he was seated is you can see him because he's on the other side of the table. So you're seeing his front, and the table's in front of him. The book is laid out in front of him. And just as you get blocked by the people who kind of stand up, you kind of see his eyes where he was looking and reading out, but then his eyes come up and just for an instant make eye contact with Cornelius. Then just as that 1 second of making eye contact, then somebody stood up in front of you and blocked your view of him. Okay. And it's in that moment that Frederick is able to kind of catch up to you. And you guys are doing the whole, oh, hey, are we dancing kind of thing with these people? Like, oh, sorry. Oh, nope, my bad. Nope. All right, I'm going to go this way. You go that way. And so in that moment, where it takes time to kind of, get past these people that stood up in front of you, you can see now the Indian, the albino has this large tome tucked under one arm, and he's walking away from you guys as he's going into a dark tunnel that's ground floor. He's not going up a stairwell, to a platform. He's going into a tunnel.
Pardon me, sir. He has the book that we need. Pardon me.
I'll increase my pace.
Yeah, I will too.
Intercept.
No. Why
Okay.
is this?
So we'll come back to that chase in just a second. Dr. Saladin, you are looking for the magic section. So give me a library use roll, please.
Got a 33 out of 55, so not a hard, just a regular.
Okay. So you don't find books on magic, but as you're walking around, you do get a sense that this place is you get a sense that this place is imbibed with magic. You are as you're looking for books, your foot strikes a pail that's sitting on the floor, and you're wondering, what is that pail doing there? And there seems to be a little bit of red liquid in the bottom of the pail. And as you're looking at it, a drop of additional red liquid lands and splats inside the pail.
I look up, see where it's
And above you, because again, there's oil paintings on the walls. There's oil, the ceiling, the domed ceiling is also painted up until it gets to the Rosetta, rose window up at the center. But there's a painting on the ceiling above you. And each of these paintings are, they're framed out, right? So they're all a little sectioned off. It's not a giant mural. But in this section right here, it's fairly horrific, actually. It's a tree that has it must be like a hanging tree, because there's all these corpses that are hanging, and the corpses are they have their hands and feet bound, and they look flayed. So there are these skinless corpses hanging from this dead tree, and two of the corpses, these skinless corpses, wet paint is dropping off of these skinless bodies and landing in the pail
like blood. How very strange. I'm going to walk around and look at more of the paintings on the walls.
Okay. Yeah, the paintings are all fairly, but some are very mundane, but some are quite bizarre. There might be paintings of what looks like royalty sitting for a painting, but the furniture that the royalty is sitting upon are nude figures who are contorted, and their bodies are twisted in such a way, and they're holding on to each other's arms and legs and bodies in such a way that their human forms are creating furniture for these royal figures to sit upon. There's all kinds of very strange things that you see, enough to kind of shake you a little bit. Make a sand roll.
I did not pass that.
Lose a D2.
Oh, that's 2.
Myron, you went down into a tunnel, just kind of exploring.
Yeah.
These tunnels have small. These tunnels are first. They're made up of wooden bookshelves. So the tunnel, while you went through a stone archway, the stone archway was only the width of a stone, and then you are in a bookshelf hallway, and so it's wooden bookshelves, and they run straight and long, and about every 15 feet or so is a stone pillar, dividing these wooden bookshelves, and on each of those stone pillars is a rather small brass tray, and there's just a small open fire, so it's not out of hand. It's not, there's no cause for alarm that,
It's but the minimum basically to see some of the books between sections.
Yep, minimum enough to see where you're going and to see the books and stuff like that, and then every now and then, it doesn't seem to be at regular basis, at regular spacing, but every now and then there might be side passages that open up, so you don't have to only go straight ahead. Every now and then that, oh, hey, there's a side passage, but yeah, it's a labyrinth, it seems like, of bookshelves, and it's just books upon books upon books upon books, and there's people in here, and some people are standing and flicking through books. Some people are, seated on the floor. Some people are just kind of finding tomes, pulling them out, and are, you kind of walk past them. The passageway is wide enough for two people to walk, side by side, comfortably. So some people are heading back to the library proper in order to look at their tomes.
The side
Yeah.
passages, I'm guessing, curve out of sight as if they were part of the whole radial structure of the library we saw.
They do.
And the branch that I went down straight ahead, it just continues indefinitely.
As far as you can tell.
Smaller pools of light as it goes.
Yeah, it just
So
looks
after
dot.
say the second side passage curves off, I'm gonna just run my fingers along, just above eye level, the shelf, at the titles, and see what kind of organization there is, what sorts of titles are here.
Okay. First, give me a luck roll.
$11.
That sounds very lucky.
Yeah, that's a hard extreme.
Fantastic. And give me a spot hidden.
And 43 is good. It's a regular.
Okay. So you are heading down this hallway that you're going down, and you're passing the second branch, that kind of goes off to the tangent off to the side. You're passing it, right? And then that's when you're going to start looking. So as you're passing that second branch, you look over, and you can tell the branch, it curves, and the hallway, that curve is also lined with books, so there's still more books going that way. And then you can see eventually, oh, there's another what must be another spoke, straight hallway. And you see, we'll say person, but you see a person standing there who just kind of, you got a glimpse of them as they were walking by, because they were cradling a book in their hand, and just, looking at the book as they were walking with it, going deeper away from the, so they're heading outward away from the library itself. But this person that you see is very very slim, very seems to have a very elegant kind of serpentine design to them. This person is wearing a long robe that seems to be decorated with symbols that you don't immediately recognize, and there seems to be a tail on this person as they're walking, and they're almost like they're walking on tiptoes or something. And you see this person, yes, they have a green gray shade to them, and they seem to be covered in scales. And so yeah, you are just walking by and you see this reptile man glancing at a book, just walking by that other hallway. So make a sand roll.
Yeah, that is not successful.
Roll the d6.
3 is fair.
Okay. Yeah, so whoever or whatever that was didn't seem to notice you. But you got a pretty good look at that person.
Figure taller than a regular human.
Taller.
And
not outrageously taller, but taller.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tail that person with a tail.
Okay. So they went out of sight. So then you've got to go down that side corridor. And when you get over there to their spoke and go around the corner, they're not there.
Is anybody in the immediate vicinity?
Yeah. You do see not far away. There's a stool in this hallway, and there's a gentleman in like brown monk robes sitting there on the stool, kind of leaning up against the bookshelf. He seems to have nodded off.
Sorry. Oh, I guess.
Yeah, pardon me. Oh, sorry. Just get out of your way. And he stands up and, kind of hands on hips and kind of stretches his back backwards, trying to crack it. And he's like, okay. All right. Back to it. Have a lovely day.
And he was sorry. I shouldn't have bothered you. I thought I saw someone I knew go by and was going to ask if you'd seen them, but I realized now that you we're taking a little rest.
Well, yes. Lots to do.
So he turned down this passage. Where does this lead right now?
This, and we're here. He looks at the books, and he even licks his finger and checks the wind. And yes, yes, I believe this might take to the jungles of South America, if memory serves.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Well, I'll let you get back to it. Thanks very much.
Yes. Yeah. Have a jolly good day. And he turns around and starts bustling off. Okay. Let's have a chase. Okay.
Halt!
Halt in the name of the law. Okay, so you guys are going to try and catch up to this guy with a quickness.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Double quick, brisk step with meaning.
All right. What is y'all? Excuse me, I've suddenly got the hiccups. Movement. What's y'all's movement?
Oh, ho, ho.
Not good.
7.
An amazing 8.
Why have a 6?
That book was not properly checked out. Stop. Department of Library Security.
Actually, Cornelius, I think he did properly check it out. The librarian was telling me so.
Oh, ouch.
Okay, let me look something up real quick.
Do I still have my lovely walking stick with me?
You do.
Oh, yes. Nice, good dark wood, maybe ebony type cane. Maybe even with some sort of, it almost looks like a wolf head at the top of it.
Oh, you found quite the stick out there on the ground there.
Oh, yes. Those chipmunks, they whittle away quite marvelously.
Great chipmunk artisans of the forest.
It would be great if they just tell me where the character sheet is for this guy. Or
Is
these
this
just
the point where we want to
introduction?
break it since we're at 2 hours with this?
Are we really?
Just barely.
All right, tell you what. How about we start with the chase next time?
Okay, yeah.
That's a good spot to start.
That'll give me some time to prepare for that then. All right, sorry.
Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, David Gasway, and myself with Josh Hook as the keeper of the secrets.
Josh
We
Hook?
have... What did I say?
Josh Hook?
Did I say Josh? Sorry. Start that again. It says John Hook on my paper, so I don't know what I was trying to read fast. Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, David Gasway, and myself with John Hook as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the fighter art of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The cost involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron, Christian Moen, has pledged $5 a month. Thank you so much, Christian. If you would like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.